Welcome back to Faithfully Unfiltered with Elle.
And Nicole.
And
Hi, I'm Paul.
With a very special guest
we
today.
have a very special guest, my cousin Paul,
That's
who
me.
I've known since birth. Well, my birth, not your birth. You're older.
True.
So,
Yeah, we wanted to welcome anybody who wanted to share their testimony, your experience, your walk with God, where you're at. And we just wanted to open up the floor for you to begin and share your story and where you're at, where you came from, where you're going,
I
present
also
day, everything.
would like to add, I think this is a podcast that has been waiting to happen, that the enemy doesn't want to happen because we've had many a setback to get here.
Yes.
And
many trials.
Yes. And also how easy it was to, like, I literally was like, hey, want to come on my pod? And you're like, down.
Yeah. It
Sign
was
me
so
up.
quick.
Like, let's go. And here we
Absolutely.
are. So we're kind of just going to give you the floor and
All
you can
right.
just take it away.
I want to start by, just sort of saying, one of the things I wanted to mention off the top is with the state of the world right now, there's just so much going on. With the Ukraine war, this Iran war, the Epstein files, all of the, end times revelation theories going around, it can all feel very overwhelming. And it can feel at times as if, no matter how much good we do as an individual, it's almost like it feels as if it's a drop in the bucket, something like that's almost, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But I just wanted to say, if everybody picks up their cross
Yeah.
and everybody, moves in a way with love in their heart, that there's no way that the enemy can win.
Amen.
And it's hard to just let go and let God sometimes, but we got to move with that faith,
And remembering
Love
the
it.
battle's already won.
Already won.
It's already written.
Already
Yep.
won. So another thing, I had to write down a lot of my ideas.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, I don't want to be stuck on my phone the whole time, but I do have a quick little spiel that I wrote down that I just wanted to read verbatim because, I really wanted to focus my ideas and get it all written down and jotted down in a way that sort of makes sense and just sort of explain, me, my background, and, sort of just the things that I believe before I begin, telling the stories of, my actual testimony and some of, like, the lowest points of my life. So if I could just get this little spiel out of the way to
Yes,
begin
go
with,
for it.
Yep.
and then we can get back to the normal, easily flow conversation,
Yes.
the style that
Yeah.
we usually have.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay. I want to give a little background info on me and my beliefs before I share my story. I was raised Roman Catholic, and I still belong to the Roman Catholic Church. And if I was asked what denomination I am, I would say Roman Catholic. However, I do read and study the Bible in my spare time, so my thoughts are largely my own interpretation of God's words to a large degree. I also wasn't the best student in Sunday school, so I'm not 100% sure of the church's stances on a lot of subjects regarding salvation, so please forgive me for my ignorance. I never got too into learning all the different denominations and all the different beliefs that they hold. I am not, have not, and probably never will claim to be an expert at this or a theologian. I'm just a regular guy who loves God, and I'm on my journey to know, understand, and love him more and more every day. And I do think it is important to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. People want so badly to worship God perfectly and glorify him the way that he wants to be glorified. But I think the most important aspect is that you are glorifying God and truly trying your best to please him. And if it looks different for different people, I think he cares a lot more about what's in your heart than what denomination you belong to. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. He expects us to try our best. With all that being said, two quotes come to my mind when I think about myself and what I think about salvation. Ephesians 2, 8 through 9. For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. And the second quote that comes to my mind in regards to salvation is James 2, 14 through 17. What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith not save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Depart in peace and be warmed and filled,' but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." I wanted to bring up those two quotes because they are the basis of my belief on how and why we are saved. I wanted to highlight them to let people know that I don't say my story to boast or come off holier than thou. I say them to benefit my brethren, that they may see my story and my very unfiltered confessions of my past sins and mistakes, so that anyone who has gone through similar things in the past can hear my story and feel less alone. Or so that someone who is new and growing up in this wicked world can hear my words and use me and my mistakes as a warning of just how bad things can get and how important it is to listen to and follow the words of God and his commandments. Now, I want to say this as a disclaimer. I'm about to be getting into some really personal stuff here and share some stories from some of the lowest moments in my life. But I believe in redemption and the forgiveness of sins. So I want to be as unfiltered, open, and honest as I can be. These stories represent my past and not who I am today. I hope I can convey to anyone listening that is going through a tough time or feeling very distant from God that no matter how far away you feel from God, you can always turn around and God will welcome you with open arms.
Love that.
Why do I feel like
love that?
Like, I love how you're like, oh, I'm not a theologian. Why do I feel like you literally just sounded like you were at like, where was that college that everybody goes and like debates?
Yeah. Oh.
Different like theologies.
I do love debating. I don't know the
That's
college.
you.
I'm not smart enough to know the college.
Literally,
No,
I
you're
was
very
like
well
picturing you.
spoken.
Even the way you were saying it, I felt like we were your audience and you're like speaking to
No, I
us.
actually got lost in like your words. That
Yeah.
was so nice. I also
was
think
good.
this ties in so well with why we even started this
Yeah.
podcast of like the unfiltered, the raw,
Yeah.
the learn from us and like what we've gone through to
Yeah.
understand that you can be forgiven, you can be made new, and you can move forward and be redeemed every single day. So
Right.
I love everything that you just said. That was awesome.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
really
well
glad. That's why
Yeah.
I just felt I had to say it exactly how it was written, or else I
Yes.
might forget something.
I get it.
And
I get
tried to cut as much meat off of that as I could to keep
that
it
was
very,
great.
That was
cut and
awesome.
sweet.
I think that was
Yeah.
a beautiful, like, general, and it gave a lot to like where you're at.
Yeah.
But we do want to kind of get into the nitty gritty of like
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
childhood. We
Are
know
you
that
ready?
that shapes a lot.
Yeah.
So you can start wherever you want, but we would love to know just kind of from beginning to end, like where. Well, it's interesting because like I know obviously because I'm your family member.
Right,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking
Yeah.
about how. Yes, we're like in like extended family together, so like we were like a big part of people's like each other's lives, but
Right.
we weren't in the same immediate family.
True,
so still
yeah.
your upbringing was completely different
Yeah.
than mine, even though we might have both been like Catholic, we both were hanging out, we both were at, at Barb's house or Grandma's house, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it was just different. So I'm interested to hear like what was your specific experience with like the
Also,
church?
really quick tying into that, it's so crazy what people can go through that you have no, like you could be as close as family and there's going to be things that you hear that you're
Yeah.
like, what? I had no idea. People cover and mask so much, especially growing up. So
Yeah.
like, it's going to be actually kind of crazy for you. Like I know nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's so it'll all be new to me, but like for you, I feel like that might be
Interesting.
Like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, me and Maddie actually just had this discussion that she's, before we came here, she was like, some of this stuff, like, you just told me.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go on a podcast
And
and
say
tell,
it.
Potentially, a ton of people, you
Yeah.
know, so.
That's what's fun about podcasts, though, because
Yeah.
like you just pretend it's us.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't see the
Yeah.
people watching. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah, we have
Just
no
say it.
idea who's, and that's
No
probably
idea.
good that we don't know who's
Yeah, but
watching.
he called me and said that Maddie, his fiance, is that okay? Name drop Maddie, is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Love you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Shout
out, Maddie.
Shout out to Maddie, the
Shout
real
out to
one.
Maddie.
Yeah.
But you were saying that like she was like listening and was kind of like, oh, like I like this or I like that or whatever. I had no idea. Like
Yeah.
we would never know. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool.
We talk about God all the time, and there's still times where, like even recently, like I'll say something and she'll be like, oh, you think that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was something completely different. You know, so we're still finding out new things and, you know, fully understanding each other. It's a forever thing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just, oh, I get you now. You know,
I love that.
We're always growing. We're always learning about each other.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I could just start getting into some of the past.
Let us know.
I have a bunch of bullet points here. I'll try,
Okay.
I'll try to just make it as
Yes.
flowy as
Say
possible.
whatever you want to say. If
Whatever's
we
on
have
your
anything
mind.
to chime or
Okay, so growing up, I sort of bought in immediately to God. You know, it's what I was taught. It was what I was raised growing up, and I just sort of like instantly believed it. I knew that there was like, I knew that God's miracles were logic defying. You know, like I would ask questions like, well, like how did all the animals on Noah's Ark get along? You know, or like how did somebody raise from the dead? People can't do that. But, you know, whatever explanation my mother gave was good enough for me. Oh, okay.
You just kind of,
Yeah, I just took, you know, like when you're a kid, you listen to your parents.
Yes.
You're telling me that that's what it is? Okay.
So I had a
all you
question
know.
about
Believe it.
that.
Go ahead.
So was God like a big part of your conversations growing up? Because I don't remember many conversations about God. Like we went to church and like Sunday school and everything, but I don't remember like asking my mom about God. I
agree.
also never was told like, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Like this is the word of God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't raised like that.
I
It was
also
more of, like,
didn't
a
know
belief.
this story either.
Yeah.
Like, of God. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know any. I didn't know the story of Jesus. Like I did not know any of that growing up.
It was definitely discussions. My mom would read to me a lot.
Okay.
And, you know, we would read the Bible. She gave me like a children's Bible, and I would read those stories like of Noah's Ark and David and Goliath. And
Okay.
like I loved those stories. And like I said, I would ask questions, but like the answer I got is, you know,
that's what it
as far as I was concerned, like, okay, there it is. You know, I'm not gonna push anymore.
You
Like
had the
that's
childlike faith.
good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or God did miracles. Like God can make that happen. Oh, okay. You know, like,
Yeah.
then that was it. I didn't push back any further.
Period. I love that.
So when I went to Sunday school, which, you know, we all went to Sunday school together,
Religion.
I didn't really take the time to internalize the information. I didn't take the time to really learn the knowledge of God that I needed in order to like withstand scrutinization of the religion, right?
Okay.
I was going to Sunday school. I would learn the information. I was always good at test taking, so I could like get the information in my head, answer all the right answers on the test in Sunday school, and like boom, that I passed the test, and that information's gone. You know, like I didn't really like internalize the things I was learning. I didn't really like soak it up and like understand it fully. Then, you know, we're children, we're having fun, and then, you know, all of a sudden, like a ton of bricks. Our family experiences a year of just crazy loss. You know, we lose 4 family members in the course of a year, and it just really shook me up. And I think then, or even like slightly before then, I started really falling off course. You know, I started really like getting into a lot of bad things. I started drinking at a very young age. I started smoking at a very young age, and I was exposed to pornography at an extremely young age. And that led to lust really grabbing a hold of me and really getting control of me, and leading me down some really, really dark paths, and, you know, leading me to making some really, really bad decisions. So naturally, middle school comes around and like early high school comes around, and I'm head over heels for a lot of girls, you know, but I end up finding this one girl, and I end up starting to date her and get into a relationship. And this was the first girl that I was like, oh, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with her. This is the girl I want to be with. She's this, she's that, she's everything, you know, da 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 da. And, you know, not coming from a place of like, oh, this is a godly woman. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
man, like, oh, she looks so good and like she's so cool. And,
She
you know.
was really cool though. She was cool.
No, she wasn't, Maddie.
Yeah.
She was the worst. She was not cool. No, I'm sorry.
I just mean like her, like
yes,
the way she
yes.
carried herself, as far as I could see.
No,
at
no,
least.
you're right.
Like I'm
You're
sure
right,
with
you're
you,
right.
it was different. But like from what I was also an impressionable teenager, so like
Yeah.
I thought all
Yeah.
girls
No,
were really
same.
cool.
And no, you're right. She was
Sorry.
was cool.
Like, she was really cool.
I'm like,
she was
actually,
cool.
maybe.
And that's actually something I talked about where I
Yeah.
was with Maddie and I was like, man, I hope like Vin never wants to be cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, right?
People don't understand how unimportant it is to be cool.
Seriously.
And it's like when you're young and you're in
think it's
you're in
everything.
school,
You're
like,
blinded by
I
the
need to be
world.
cool. I need to be the coolest and not realizing like how uncool it is to be cool. You know,
Right.
like it just like doesn't matter and it really leads you down like some wrong roads. Like being nice is so much better than being cool.
Right.
Yep.
I remember when I was in middle school, I won the Rachel's Challenge. Is that right?
Rachel's?
What
It
was
sounds so familiar.
the Columbine school shooting?
Okay.
The girl that died in the Columbine
I think
school
you're right,
shooting. There
yeah.
was a
I
big
don't even
challenge going around, and you know somebody in each school won the Rachel's. I think it's the Rachel's Challenge Award.
Yes,
What was it,
I'm
like being the most kind person?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Cool.
that's exactly it. It was
Yeah.
being the most kind person. I won.
Okay.
I won the Rachel's Challenge Award. And rather than being like, oh, wow, man, you know, like, you won this Rachel's Challenge Award for being a good person. Like, that's awesome. Like, you should feel really proud of yourself. I was like, oh, my God, I'm a nerd.
Oh, you're like
I'm a nerd.
embarrassed. Yeah.
I'm the nicest guy? What? I had
I can't be known for this.
Yeah,
you're like, I
had
need to
like
be
a
the
bad
biggest
reaction
jerk,
to it. I'm
yeah.
like, I gotta get cooler,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I'm start puffing out my chest, you know. Like, I just had a
That's so
bad reaction.
funny.
It was just so weird in hindsight, you know. Like, looking back now, like that's one of my proudest moments. The
Yeah.
school recognized me as being a really nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
I should be super proud of that. But in the time, I internalized it as like, oh, I gotta get like cooler, man.
Oh, of
I gotta
course,
be
yeah.
like more edgy, you know. That's
You
not
rip
cool
up the
enough.
certificate.
Cool guys don't, yeah.
Right.
This is
Cool
going
guys
to
don't win the
ribbon.
Rachel's
Yeah.
Challenge Award, you know. So like, it's just having like that weird relationship with coolness. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So me and this girl started dating. And one day we got into a conversation about God. She asked me like, "Oh, you believe in God?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "What about aliens? What about the age of the earth? What about, what about God's like logic defying miracles? Like that can't happen." And she was clearly far more prepared for this conversation than I was. This was a topic that she had clearly spent a lot more time thinking about than I had.
So it's almost like premeditated to like bring it to you to
Right.
be like, yeah.
Right. Or even if it wasn't like premeditated where maybe she wasn't trying to like shake my faith.
Okay.
Maybe she thought about faith.
Yeah.
And maybe like these are questions that she came up with
Yeah.
and she never got a good answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know? And we ended up having this long conversation about religion. Can it be true? Can it not be true? This, that, X, Y, Z. And, like I said, clearly she had given the topic a lot more thought than I had. As a kid, I just said, oh, that's what it is. Okay, I believe you. And I just
Okay.
I asked a question, they answered it. Okay, no pushback,
Can
and
I
was
ask
too
really
young.
quick, how
Yeah.
old were you at this point? Do you remember?
Freshman or sophomore in high
Okay.
school.
I feel like having a conversation like this, I wasn't even.
I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah,
No.
like I
I
can't
did
even
talk
believe
about
that.
heaven sometimes with my boyfriends. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
what do you think heaven's
I-
like?
Yeah, or like what happens after death.
Yeah, something
like
like
And
yeah.
I held on to heaven so tightly.
Yeah.
Because we experienced a lot of loss.
Yeah,
And
so
I've
there's hope.
always believed, and I still do to this day, I've always believed like our aunts and uncles are up in heaven with God
Yeah.
looking down on us.
I had that when we were talking, like in one of our first podcast episodes. I said that I was like, how could somebody not want that hope that like one day you're gonna like see the loved
Yep.
ones that like
Yes.
passed away, and knowing that from the word and what it says that we won't even like remember. So like all we're gonna see is the love and the peace that we do see. So you know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
don't know, God bless, where people are going and everything, but what we will see up there will be beautiful and it will be peaceful, and we'll see God and we'll see all of our loved ones that, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
are there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
it's like that
And-
hope. I did the same thing. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I also had another question, but
Go ahead.
Okay, do you want me to ask it now?
I got bullet points.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
good.
You're right. You're more on
I'm
track
good.
than me.
You got questions? You tell me.
So
I'm good.
I was thinking, like, because I developed, but it was my dad that died, right? Like, you never lost, like, your parent during that
Yeah,
time.
which I did. I felt almost like survivor's guilt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I was going to
100%.
ask you, like, for me, I remember having this anxiety that my mom was going to die all the
Yeah.
time. Like, did you
Oh.
experience that?
Oh, there was one day where my mom must have been cleaning the house or something,
Mm-hmm.
and she was upstairs in my bedroom in the attic at the time, and she just like fell asleep
Yeah.
for like a nap. And my sister calls my mom, and she didn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then she calls my dad. Hey, you talk to mom? And he's like, no, she's not home. And then they start calling my mom, and everybody's calling my mom. All of a sudden, my sister's gathering me around, and for 2 hours, like an hour or two, while my mom was just upstairs napping,
She's just napping. Yeah.
our family was like, she's dead.
Yeah.
We were terrified
Yeah.
of losing another family member.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember like crying with my sister, like, oh my God, so fearful that we had lost another parent
Such
because
a
we had
sad
just
anxiety.
No,
yeah.
we like
Oh,
had,
yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
almost, I hate to say, but like worse than the death was living with that fear and anxiety of
Yeah.
like who's next almost.
Yeah.
It was
just
like
felt
this dread.
It almost felt inevitable.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, so who's next? You
Yeah.
know, like it's like like months after losing another one.
Exactly.
We lose another one. And it's
So
just like,
true.
oh my gosh. And my mom was the only sibling
Left. Yeah.
left. So to me, I'm like, oh, she's next on the
Yeah,
block.
of
She's next
course.
on the block. Like all of the other siblings passed away. My mom is next.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we experienced a lot of fear, a lot of fear of losing another one, of
Yeah.
losing like one of our parents. And then with that fear was also, like I said, a lot of survivor's guilt.
Yeah,
of,
that's
like,
interesting. I never
I
thought
felt
about
like
it that.
like why do I deserve to not go through that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I almost like I didn't deserve to not go through that.
Yeah.
Where you guys all went through something so personal. I remember being at funerals, and the first funeral, we're like I'm like trying to like cheer people up, and then by like the last one, it's just like we're just sitting there like
No, literally.
Again?
I
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah. I remember like not
can't-
even having tears at a
Yeah.
certain point. I was just like, I don't even
yeah,
know what's going on here.
just numb.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no point in like trying to like cheer people up. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much. It was too much, and
Right.
like really like defeated. Like really defeated. Really is like how
Yeah.
how I felt.
Yeah.
At the time. But
Yeah, circle back.
I think no. I'm right on track. But I think back to that quote from James that I said at the beginning. My faith without the works was dead.
Yeah.
And leaving that conversation, so was my belief in God.
Wow.
I had lost that conversation, and I can't help but feel like if I had done more work and I had known more about God and I had known more of the answers to answer the questions that I was receiving at the time, like maybe I could have left there convincing her
Yeah. Well, that's biblical, right?
rather than the
Yeah.
other way around.
Putting on the truth, like the armor of God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
That's why we have to know it. It's not just for like whatever. But it's
Exactly.
like because somebody like that can get into your head if you don't have that truth like
Yep.
deeply rooted in you. It's like you don't know. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah, that actually makes sense. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
Yeah.
honestly,
No,
a lot of what
100%.
God does, because we can't grasp it,
Right.
we're like, yeah, you know what? That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
You But when you're spending that time with the Holy Spirit, and He's giving you that wisdom and He's opening your eyes to see and connecting the dots, then you're like, oh, this makes actually sense, even though it doesn't make sense. But now I'm understanding because He's
Right.
giving me that wisdom from Him.
Right. And
You know?
I have answers to those questions now.
Yeah.
know,
you like
at the
practice
time-
in the mirror, like this is what I would say now.
Yeah.
Maddie's like, Paul, what do you think about God? You're like,
Exactly. Oh,
Hold on.
I'm ready.
Tell you what I think. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Yeah, but, I ended up really like losing my faith from that conversation. And I just really ended up just at that point really letting go, just fully letting go of my faith. And we were in a relationship, I started drinking even more, and I didn't even like drinking. Never have, and I still don't. I've never really felt the urge to like go get drunk. It's not my vice,
Yeah.
I was smoking a lot more. I started doing a lot more drugs, and we were having sex at an age that society and our culture would probably say is normal.
Yeah.
You know, like if you left high school and you were a virgin, you were a nerd. You know, like that type of like that's sort of how our culture thinks and feels. But you know, in hindsight, like I was too young to be doing these things. I was
Actually
just
so
We
sacred.
all were
Yeah, we can all
dangerously
agree
young,
with that.
yeah.
yes,
for sure.
yeah, far too young to be doing those things. And it really ended up kicking me into a life of just nihilism and hedonism. That
Okay.
was my
I want to know what that is.
yes, yeah.
What is
So
that?
nihilism is just the belief that nothing matters.
Okay.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Be good,
no
do
worries.
good. Yeah.
And that's why, you know, a lot of people always looked at me and always talked to me about like being like, oh, you're so chill.
Well, because you were like Stoner Paul.
Stoner
Yeah.
all the
Paul,
time.
Nothing matters.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Nothing matters. We're just a big rock floating
Yeah.
through
Yep.
space. You
Right.
know, nothing you do matters.
So many people think that,
Yeah.
And it's masked. You know, there's a reason why, you know, Simba leaves that life.
Yeah.
And goes to do the right thing and like go, you know, redeem himself in the future.
I
you
love
know?
that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Simba.
Simba. Yeah. But I was just really and then hedonism is just the pursuit of pleasure.
Okay.
It's just the unfiltered pursuit of pleasure. All that mattered to me at that moment was my next high, you know, that next hit, and just like, how can I make myself feel good?
So just like
right now?
self-serving.
Yeah,
basically.
self-serving. How
Yeah.
can I make myself feel good?
Yeah.
Pleasure's good. No matter who I hurt to get it, no matter what I do to my body to get it.
Yeah.
You know, no matter the consequences, I'm out here to have a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
So that was my philosophy. Nothing matters, and I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
saying that, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no.
Saying that, don't you feel like I never would have thought of it that way of how I grew up too, but that's like I never put two and two together of like, I felt the same way.
Wait, what do you mean? Like the pleasure
Of
yeah.
just like not caring, like just living like for
what you want. Well, also
Yeah.
that's fed to us
very
through
enticing.
society.
Right,
Even now,
yeah.
it's even worse now because now
Yeah.
everyone's like, do what you have to do for you. It's all
Yep.
about you. Whereas Jesus is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Where he says, but I think that right now we are seeing so many people waking up because they're realizing that there's no fulfillment in self,
100%.
just doing everything for
No
yourself all the
sustainable
time.
joy.
100%.
No
Like that's where
sustainable
true joy comes from. Like, yeah, sure, you can do something for yourself. It's not like you can never do anything ever for yourself.
Right.
Like,
Right.
But you have to be mindful, and there's sacrifices that need to be made. And I think of this in like motherhood. Like, if I just did what I want all day, my kids are like missing out on this beautiful thing, and they don't know anything yet. So I'm responsible for teaching them.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and showing them what it's like to be. I hate saying like a good person, but basically
Yeah.
what it is to have morals and to show up as like a good follower of Christ,
Right,
you know?
right.
It's dying to yourself and serving others.
Funny enough, like now, some of the things that make me feel the best, it's not like the things I do for myself, it's the
Right.
things I do for others.
Yeah.
That's what actually brings sustainable joy. Somebody calls me, hey, you got your truck, like, can you help me move something? Dude, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, can you help me fix this thing? Dude, say less, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, what do I owe you? Nothing. You know, like I'm here to
Got
help
you.
you. Like
Yeah.
what do you're giving me the opportunity to help you. That's good enough. You know, like that's the stuff that really brings sustainable joy
Yeah.
is helping others, you know, and it's easy to lie to yourself and trick yourself because it's like you're looking for that quick hit of dopamine.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's not sustainable. You're
No.
looking what you want is like long sustained serotonin.
Right.
Yes.
You want,
Yep.
you know, you want to feel good for a long amount of time.
Right.
And you want to think back in the past and you know, like I can think back in the past about the things I've done for other people's and feel good again.
Yeah.
You know, like I can reach back to that. You know, whereas when I think back to the things that I did that gave me that quick hit of dopamine, made me feel good in the moment, when I look back, all it does is bring regret.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah, it
that
makes you
loop.
sick,
It's
yeah.
like that loop.
You get like a little bit of joy and then like so much negativity
Yep.
like connected to that.
It
and
comes
it's like,
quicker than you actually
Yeah.
got the
Yeah.
happiness or the quick hit that whatever you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and it
The-
lasts much
Yep,
longer.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate what I'm thinking because, like, obviously, and we've had like many a nights where we were like smoking weed together for sure. Even though I was not a chill high person.
I remember,
was the opposite.
I remember
I
you
was
called me a
not
couple of
well.
nights being like, Paul, I need you now.
I
I'm like,
immediately
come on over.
No, my issue would be like I need to go to the hospital. I'm dying. My heart rate is out of this world.
Yeah.
I'm going to the hospital because I'm going to die now. Like, somebody take me now. And then we got Paul, and he would be so calm, and I'd be like, you're actually,
just stop.
you would think like a calmness would help me. No, it made it worse. I'm like, why aren't you freaking out? Why am I the only one freaking out here? Like, I am not well. So yes, needless to say, the stoner life didn't last long for me.
Yeah.
Good.
I
wasn't a vibe.
I still struggle. I'm not gonna lie. You know, like I still struggle. I've given up weed for Lent, and so I'm on 2 weeks now.
Nice.
No weed. You know, so
Good for
that's good for me. I feel clear. I feel good, and I think it's helping me like break the hold. You know, break the hold that it has over me.
Yeah.
You know, I become a lawyer as soon as I start thinking about weed with the
Yeah.
Bible. I'm like, well, technically, it doesn't say anything in there. You know, and like, well, you know, like, So I just become too. You know, I'm like.
You're like, all right, maybe I'm defending this too much.
Like
It's
I
time to
know
just
I'm defending it too much, you know.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, oh, you know, you can have a glass of wine in the
Yeah.
Bible. Like if I just, you know, if I'm just like more moderate about it, it's better, you know. But you know,
Right.
God speaks to you in your heart, and you know,
Yeah.
like it's like I know I had to give it
Yeah,
up.
you know
yeah.
it deep down.
I'm just
Yeah.
fighting. I'm just
Yeah.
kicking and fighting on
You're
the
like,
way down.
actually,
Yeah.
no thanks.
But I will say, you know, like I feel great. I feel great right now, you know,
Good.
going on 2 weeks without it. I really don't crave it all that much anymore, you know, and, you know, not to say I'll never stumble again.
Right.
But I do feel that, you know, I'm making strides. You know,
Good.
I'm moving in the right direction. I'm making strides.
That's good.
So in this relationship, early in the relationship, I got a text message from one of her friends, hey, I just think you should know such and such cheated on you. And I was like, actually, like, totally, like, I was really okay with it. I was like, you know, we just started dating, you know, we don't even really know each other that much. And, you know, I talked to her about it, and I ended up forgiving her, and, like, we just sort of moved past it. We just moved on, we moved past it, and I forgave her. And, you know, we just continued on with what we had going on. And that's when we started really delving more into, like, you know, I was starting getting into harder drugs. For me, my big thing was acid. I got really into taking acid. And not only did I get into taking acid, but I got addicted to having bad trips.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Which is like a
Yeah,
relationship that a
that's
lot of people don't really
interesting.
talk about, or don't really think about. But I would constantly trip. I'd lose my mind. I would absolutely lose my mind. But I would feel like I learned something.
Okay.
But I can't remember it.
Okay.
So I got to go back in. You know, I'm
my
like,
God.
oh, there's
Wow.
something in there, and I got to get there. I got to get to it. You know, I was just chasing that unicorn. You know, like there's something in there. Like, oh, I had this like profound moment, and like I got to get that moment back again.
Wait,
so
I've
I'd go.
never heard of this.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, is that like a real thing, or is it just your
It
mind
happened to
playing
me.
a trick? But is that your? Did you? No, I mean like in the you're like, duh, yeah, that was my life. I meant the fact of like, well, I've never done acid, so like, I don't know what it's like to be like on it.
Is
So
a bad
is it
trip a real thing? You're saying?
So is it like you actually found something? You're like, I actually have to go back to it. Is it your mind playing a trick on you just to get that trip again?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of both. Like one of the things I remember in one of my bad trips, I remember one of the things I kept thinking is I need to leave the relationship I'm in. I can't keep hanging out with this friend that I'm hanging out with, and I need to stop smoking weed.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And I would have bad trips, and I would obsess over God.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know.
It's
right?
like I knew I was in the wrong place.
Okay.
And when I would take acid and have these like really bad trips, it would be like, you're doing wrong stuff. Like
Yeah.
voices in my ears like, you can't be doing this. You know, like
Addiction.
You know what I'm thinking of is like that was like the enemy's way of being like, well, like you're realizing it because it might be, which I don't know. I don't know how like drugs really are. Like
Yeah.
obviously it could be like maybe just your guilty conscience is coming or whatever.
probably,
like
yeah,
something
no,
you
100%,
deep,
yeah.
you know deep down, but it's almost like the enemy was using that to be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep him here
Yeah,
because he likes
yeah.
this feeling.
Yeah.
So he's almost like using that as a way to like keep you still distracted, even though like you're getting that little glimmer. But we know God obviously uses everything, so like he's still able to use that
yeah,
moment.
God will use the bad for
Right,
good.
but
Yeah.
that's how he was like in that moment keeping you. Okay, well,
Right.
he's still away from it, so it's fine. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Maybe that's also some peace to keep with you too moving forward. Like in your process is knowing God's always been with you in there,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
like, okay, you got to stop doing this stuff. Like
100%.
his
Yeah.
voice was always in there. So
Yeah.
like you
But-
know God is always with you.
But then I would fight it.
Yeah,
Because I'm
of
like, I don't
course.
want to stop. You know, like, I'm like,
yeah.
come on, I'm having so much fun. You know, so like I would fight it.
Like, stop, not right
I would
now.
fight it, and then it would lead
Like,
to
I'm
me.
going back because I didn't win that argument.
Yeah.
It would lead to like an ego death, and it would lead to me absolutely losing my mind,
Yeah.
losing 100% losing control. The things I thought were happening. I thought at one point I thought I was having a child. At one point I thought
Wait, what?
jump. Oh, dude.
Outside of your trip?
Yes.
So you were in, like, a psychosis.
In the
Oh.
trip. In
Okay,
the
okay.
trip, I was like, "Who's having my baby?" And everyone's like,
my
"What are you
gosh.
talking about? You're insane!" Like I was losing my mind. I lost grip. I lost grip of
Wow.
reality.
I didn't know any of this.
Some of the things I did while addicted to bad trips and tripping on acid are I jumped into Hoyt Lake.
Okay.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
I at one of like these like social gatherings that we had like a handful of people over. We were all there tripping, and I was just running around naked. Just took off all my clothes and just started running around just completely naked. And don't ask me why I did these things. I can't tell you.
Yeah,
I was out of
you're
my
literally
mind.
tripping.
And then one of the other things I did was I almost punched my best friend in the face. I ran up to him, I cocked my fist back, and I went, and I said his name. Like I realized it was him in that moment, and I decided not to punch him.
Wait, so like, did you kind of know what you were doing, but you didn't know what you were doing? So you like remember this?
I remember it.
But you
yeah.
just remember being like out of your mind type of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like in the moment you think it's XYZ, and then afterwards you're like, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
You know, like you're stuck with the reality at the end of it. You know, in the moment it's this mystical, magical thing, and all this cool, crazy stuff is happening, and it makes total sense that I was about to punch my best friend in the face.
Yeah.
And then after the trip, you come down and you're like, did I really just jump into Hoyt Lake last
Yeah.
night? You know, like
my
you're just
gosh,
stuck with the decisions that
Yeah.
you made. You know, that past you made.
Wow.
So, you know, I got really into drugs and really into a really, really bad headspace.
Okay.
So 3 years into that relationship and all of that stuff going on, my partner told me that she was going back to Florida. She was in Florida the first time she had cheated on me. So she's going to Florida, and I just have this gut feeling. I just couldn't shake it. That, like, while she was in Florida, I was, like, tortured the entire time. I was like, she's cheating on me.
Yeah.
I knew it. I just knew it in my bones. So she ends up coming back, and I do not condone this. This is bad behavior on me, but I'm like, let me see that phone. And I checked her phone, and I ended up looking through the messages with her and her friend, and I confirmed through her text messages with her friend she was cheating on me in Florida. Gut shot.
Yeah.
Gut shot. I've been dating this
'Cause
girl
now
for
you're
3 years
invested.
at this
Yeah.
point. And, you know, this was the girl I thought I was going to marry. You know, this is the girl I thought I was going to be with. So gut shot, dropped on my knees, started crying instantly, and it eventually just led to us breaking up. So, but because I had broken up with her, I wasn't looking for healthy things yet. I hadn't fixed myself.
Yeah.
So I jumped right back into my hedonism. You know, like time to look for pleasure, time to look for other girls to hook up with, time to look for this, time to look for that. And, you know, that hedonism led me to, you know, reaching out to like a whole bunch of girls trying to hook up with people. And then one day I get a message on Facebook from a girl, cute girl. Hey, you're really cute. Like, I'm really into you. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, you're cute too. I'm into you too. We start talking. We're texting back and forth. She starts sending nudes. I start sending nudes. And, you know, we had that going on. And then she starts asking for, like, more and more explicit pictures.
Okay.
She asks me, like, hey, are you kinky? I'm like, yeah, I'm kinky. You know, like, I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm not prude. Yeah, I'm kinky, you know. And I'm just like, flat, you know. And she starts asking for, like, really, really explicit pictures, like, very particular things. So I do them, and I send them to her. Well, I ended up, you know, like, I was going around the block doing my whole thing, and I ended up talking to my ex, the one that had cheated on me again. And we're talking, and, you know, we're hooking up, and then one day she's like, hey, like, do you know about those pictures of you that are going around the school?
Oh my gosh. I remember this.
And I was like, what
Oh my
are...
gosh.
I forgot about this.
I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, like, these pictures of you are going around my school and your school. Like, they're all over. And I was like, what?
You're still in high school at this point?
Still in high school.
Oh my gosh.
It turns out that the person that was messaging me was a catfish. It was a friend of mine.
A guy or a girl?
A guy.
I thought you were gonna say it was her, and I was
Me
gonna be
too.
like,
I
know that.
I thought it was her the whole time too.
No, I don't know if
Plot
it was her.
twist.
That's not confirmed. I have suspicions that
Yeah.
she might have been involved, but I don't know that. I can't confirm that, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that. But I do know that it was a friend of mine who is a guy. This person had taken my pictures that I had sent this person and uploaded them on Grindr
Oh boy.
and made a profile for me on Grindr. Took that profile, showed it to like the big gossips in my school, and that profile ended up spreading all around my school and her school.
Yeah.
And
Oh my god, high school is terrible.
yeah, and
That's literally torture.
Terrible.
and I was like, oh my, like, just complete shock, complete utter shock.
You
And
think your life's over at that
I ended
point,
up crawling right back into the open arms of my ex, who was waiting to coddle me and
Yeah.
you know give and comfort me. So we ended up getting back together, and that last portion, we were together for probably like a year after that point, and it was the worst, most toxic, unhealthy 1 year of a relationship of my entire life.
Yeah.
I never trusted her. I was constantly checking her phone. There were nights where I was like, I was just waiting to catch her. That was
Yeah.
like, I spent most of my time
Yeah,
like
it's a
trying to
terrible
catch her
feeling.
cheating on me again, because I felt it was inevitable that that was going to happen. So we're dating, and it's horrible. It's a horrible time. One day, we're hanging out at my one friend's house, who had just gotten back from the military. We're hanging out at his house, and she swings by, and she comes over. She's like, hey, what are you doing? How long are you going to stay here? I'm like, I don't know. I just got here. I'll probably be here for a couple hours. Like, we're going to hang out. She's like, okay, I got to go home. Like, I got stuff I got to do. It's like, okay, yeah, no worries. She leaves. 5 minutes later, that same feeling. Like, I like just the intuition, you know? Like,
Yeah.
subconsciously, I know it's weird that she's like, how long are you going to be here? Oh, I came by for 5 minutes. I'm leaving again. You know, same feeling. Like, something's happening. I drove, I tell my friend, like, hey, sorry, like, I just got to go. I got to go. I know I said I was going to hang out. I got to go. Left, drove back to where we were both living at the time. And as I was walking up the driveway, I could hear her cheating on me. I could hear it audibly. I ran up the stairs as quick as I could into the attic that we were staying in at the time, and I'm looking around and nobody's up there. And then I walk like back down into the room, and then she's there and getting out of the shower. Hey, what's up? Like, you're home early. And I'm like, I ignore her. I'm running into each and every room. The only room I didn't check is they were renting out a room at the time to like a guy, to like a different guy. They were like, oh, we need help with rent. So they rented out a room to a guy. So I didn't check his room because that's not my space. I can't look in that room. I checked everywhere else though, every inch, the whole living room, the whole, all this, the whole this, that, the third. And I didn't find anything. I'm looking under beds. I'm everywhere. And then I go back to her and I'm like, I heard it. Like, no BS, I heard it. And she starts telling me, like, you're hearing things. Like, you're taking too much acid. Like, I think you're schizophrenic.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to convince me that, like, oh,
You're crazy.
that I'm crazy. You
Yeah.
can't trust what you hear. Like, you're schizophrenic. I left, consoled in some friends of mine, came to the decision that I got to get my stuff. I got to get out of there. I came back with my buddy the next day, grabbed all my stuff, threw it in the car. The guy that was living there was home. Went knocked on his door. I got some questions for you, buddy. I ended up questioning him, pretty much interrogating this guy. And he ended up stumbling and lying to me. He was like, no, I was in the living room. I'm like, I know you weren't in
Yeah,
the
'cause
living
I
room
would've
because
known,
I checked
yeah.
every inch of this house.
Yeah.
You know, this, that, the third. It confirmed everything that I was thinking. Like, he was, in fact, the guy that she was cheating on me with. And, we got into a confrontation, and I left and, like, never went back to her again. Now,
Gosh, I totally forgot about that.
yeah.
I like remember little snippets of all this, but I don't
I
really
would say,
remember like
you,
details.
Did you go to Kenmore West?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Kenmore West. You might
Well,
have seen
I didn't.
them.
I was gonna say I was gonna tell you if it went around your school, and I was gonna be like, it probably went on Camarise,
Yeah.
but I did not see anything.
I mean, I remember
so
having-
didn't get to me.
I remember having conversations with friends of mine, and they were like, "No, dude, like, I know what your bed looks like. Like, I know these are pictures of you." And I'm like, "No, you don't get it. Like, these are pictures of me, but like, I didn't make the account." And like, it's just like, yeah, good luck explaining that to some high schoolers. You know, like it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
up against a wall. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, it's like you said, like I heard that, but I didn't know. It's like, well, I've never really had a chance to like share my story.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted
Also,
to
it's
come
not
on
something
here
you're gonna
and,
like
just share my
scream
story.
from the rooftop.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's a little embarrassing, but like, you know, I have no shame. Like
Yeah.
God redeems all. Like,
Yeah.
Unfiltered, right?
You're
That's the name
forgiven.
of the podcast,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Unfiltered.
Yeah.
So clearly, I'm at a low point. I'm at a real low point.
Yeah.
Immediately after that, one morning while I'm going to college, my best friend, whose house I was at that day, ends up texting me in the morning or calling me. It was a phone call in the morning. "What's up, man? What are you doing?" "I'm going to school. Same thing I do every day." "What do you mean?" "Oh, okay. Yeah. What time you left already?" "Yeah, I left." "Oh, I'm on the road. What do you want?" He's like, "Oh, no, nothing. Like, what time you get out?" "I get out at like 5, like same time every day, bro. What's going on? Like, what do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to hang out. Like, why don't we hang out after school today?" "All right. Okay, dude. Sure. Bye." You know, hang out. Like, weird phone call. And at the time, I'm like, that was like so weird. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
When I came home, the window to my bedroom had been broken, shattered, and all of the money that I had been saving
Oh my gosh.
for, you know, years at this point, working in a restaurant, saving up cash, all the money that I'd been saving, you know, a couple grand, was robbed from me, from my room, by one of my best friends at the time.
Oh my gosh.
So knocks me even lower. You know, I'm just boom, 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 just down, 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 down,
Yeah.
L, you know, L after L. And then, you know, I'm like, okay, like I gotta get my stuff in order. You know, like that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm on the wrong path. Like clearly this has brought me like nowhere good.
Yeah.
So I immediately started trying to redeem myself by my works. You know, like, okay, I'll put my head down, I'll go to college. And I tried to redeem myself by like accolades, money, and respect. Those were like the 3 things that I was going after at that time. I ended up dropping out of college because I had very specific reasons for going to college. I had very like specific things I wanted to learn and do. And I didn't feel at the time. I just didn't feel like I was actually learning any of those things. It felt like I was learning a curriculum for like the people at the college so that they could check off their boxes,
Yeah.
rather than learning things that I was actually going to use to help me. And I had to stop. I'm like, this isn't benefiting me. I had to leave, so I dropped out of college, and I started a business with one of my best friends. And, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good time. I learned a lot. I was studying on my own. We had a great time together. And we ended up starting a business. What we did was we flipped and we wholesaled houses in real estate. It was a real estate business. And it was a really good time. You know, we did a flip. We made $15K. We did a wholesale. We made $60K in one check, $60K. And that was like, oh, boy, you know, like I saw
Yeah.
the money and like cha-ching, you know, my eyes lit up. I'm like, oh, this is it. And, you know, we ended up, but eventually, you know, it was right around when COVID hit. And that really hurt our company. It really hurt our ability to, because, you know, nobody wants to hear a sales pitch. Nobody wants you to come to their house and give them a sales pitch in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
So we ended up fizzling out because $75K ain't that much when you got 2 mouths to feed.
Right.
So we ended up failing. That business ended up failing. We ended up going out of business. And again, you know, I'm like, I'm getting my stuff in order. I'm working. I felt as if I was like getting back on the right track. Boom, knocked me right back down. Because what I was doing wasn't what was for me. You know, that wasn't my path. That wasn't like, I was purely pursuing money, you know? And I think, you know, there's no way I could have gone that path, because had I gone that path, like the person I would have become probably would have just been a terrible person again.
Yeah.
You know, it was still hedonism, just a different form. Like, I
Right.
just wanted more money, more power, more, you know, respect. So that ended up failing. And then, you know, immediate identity crisis, you know,
Yeah.
oh, well, that failed, and just like really devalued my self-worth. So at that point, I had to start, I was like, okay, time to go work in the family construction business, like time to go crawling back to dad and, ask dad for a job. And at the time, it really felt like defeat. It really felt like I had failed. I need my dad to come save me. Is how it felt. And it felt like a burden that had been placed on me. It looks like I have to go be a laborer for my whole life, and that's really like how I viewed it when I first came back. Around that time is when I started listening to Jordan Peterson. And, a lot of people have different opinions on Jordan Peterson. He's quite polarizing, but he's where I actually learned about things like nihilism and hedonism and, learning about like the theology and the stories of the Bible and, really like started being able to listening to him. I was able to dip my toes back into the idea of religion. I wasn't in the water.
Yeah.
But I was like, dipping my toes and sort of thinking about it. And I was really able to start having gratitude for the things that I had, and for the opportunity that I had to work for my dad. And, he says things like clean your room. And I just started like, okay, I don't have this grand plan anymore of like getting rich and being uber wealthy. I don't really have that going for me anymore. I'm just going to put my head down and I'm going to just like do the best I can in my day-to-day and just like sort of have faith that like it'll work out. And that was really like the introduction for me of, becoming more of a servant rather than a master of everything. Like maybe I don't need to be in control of my entire destiny. Maybe I can have faith that if I just lock in and just try to do the right thing and be a good person and work hard, like maybe it will just work out, And that was really an introduction to that. And, over a couple of years, around that time is when I met Maddie. So I started actually experiencing what a healthy relationship looked like.
She's way cooler.
She's way cooler.
You were
She's
waiting
way
for that
cooler.
to redeem yourself,
way
huh?
And like I had a lot of unhealthy, toxic habits from being in that super toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And, it was so good for me to be with somebody who was actually healthy, and I was able to start stripping away all of the bad things that I was, doing and all the bad habits that I built over the years. I started gaining a lot of gratitude. All of a sudden, like, I was super grateful that, like, hey, I get to, like, I'm still working with my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm working with my brother and my father.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people spend you spend a lot of time at work.
Yeah.
And I get to spend time with my dad.
Family, yeah.
With my family, with my dad. I'm soaking up all the knowledge that he's built over the years. And, just really started to build a lot of gratitude and, really appreciating the situation that I was in. Really loved working for Bavasoto Construction. So one year, I was blessed enough to buy my first home, a duplex. Needed some work. And at the exact same time, my best friend, Yak, was blessed with his first kid. So, like, big changes are happening for us, like, and good changes, and, like, we're moving in the right direction, and things are really, really good. And right around that time that I bought my first house, Yak had his first kid, the winter comes around and work really, really slows up for the business. And I remember my dad came, my dad gave me a phone call one day while I'm working on my house, and he goes, Paul, I gotta say something, and it's bad news. I think we might have to lay off Yak right when he had his first kid. And I immediately started lashing out. Like, I was angry, like, that's my best friend, and I was just like, wouldn't accept it. I was not accepting it. I was freaking out, lashing out at everybody, yelling at everybody, just anger, that's all I was expressing, really. Got into, like, different phone calls. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And it's just like, no, we can't. And I remember one day, I was just at my house working. I was working at it alone because, like, we couldn't live in it while I was doing a kitchen and a bathroom and doing all this work. And I was just in my truck in the driveway, and I just broke down, just tears. And I sat down, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I genuinely prayed to God. What do I do? You know, like, what do I do? Help me, like, help. And, you know, they talk about, like, you're not clean when you go into a shower. You know, you don't need to be perfect when you go to God. And the first time I prayed to God, it was out of anger and spite.
Yeah.
And like, dude, like, help me, dude. Like, what have you done for me lately? You know, like, I was just so angry. And like, I was just, but I was honest. I was extremely honest with him. You know, like, this is how I feel, man. Like, this is really how I feel. And like, help me, dude. Like, help. And then, you know, it just came to me, you know, the answer. Like, it was like, oh. All of a sudden, it's like, it's so clear. It's so obvious. So I called up my dad, and I told him, like, there's absolutely no way you're laying off Yak. If anybody's getting laid off, it's me. I'll leave. Like, you can fire me, and I'll figure it out. At the time, I was listening to Jordan Peterson's lectures on Genesis and Exodus, and it was talking about leaving the land of your father and like having faith that like you'll be okay and you'll be good. So like the stories were like really hitting deep to me at the time too. Like that was speaking to me, and then I prayed and that just came to me, and you know that's what I said. You know, I'm like, it's me. Like it'll be me. If anybody's getting chopped, like I'm not leaving my friend who just had his child jobless and incomeless. I won't do it. Like it'll be me. Fire me. He said, there's absolutely no way I'm doing that. Like, we're just going to go until the wheels fall off of this thing. You know, we're just going. So we just put our heads down and waited and just hoped and prayed. And I was praying. And eventually a really big job came and hit just in time. And we were able to course correct. And, you know, everything started fixing itself. You know, with no intervention from my part, not me.
Yeah.
You know, nothing that I did fixed it. It wasn't my works. But that big job came, and we were able to course correct. And, you know, since then, like, our business has been flourishing. We've been having, like, better years than we've ever had. We've grown. We've added another crew. Me and Yak are both foremen now. You know, he still works with us to this day.
Awesome.
And we were able to, like, really course correct, and it just absolutely changed the trajectory of my life, and I've just been filled with such gratitude since that day.
Yeah.
And and the reason I wanted to really spend a lot of time talking about like the negative things that I went through, and why I wanted to focus so much on the low moments of my life is because, you know, not everybody gets to experience the burning bush. Not everybody gets to hear the audible voice of God speak in their ear, you know? And for a lot of people, you know, without talking about the lows, like my coming to God moment was just not getting fired.
Yeah.
You know, so that doesn't really carry a lot of weight to it, you know, without knowing like where I was and what that meant to me and, you know, the entire backstory behind it. So I really wanted to highlight the lows of my life because that's what brings the importance
glory.
and the weight
Yeah.
and the glory to that moment of not needing to lay off my best friend
Yeah.
and not needing to lose my job with my family that I really appreciated.
I see that as like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to just say in the beginning when we started, I want to like listen back to it because I'm just curious because you made a comment like let go and let God.
Yes.
And that's literally exactly when he was able to start moving in your life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, yeah, you let go and let God. Like in
100%.
that moment when you started praying, you were like, all right, I don't have control. I will fall and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But like you go figure it out. And then he did. He worked
Yeah.
in your
And
life
I just
at that
see
point.
like God's
did it.
grace all over that too.
Yeah.
Because it was
Absolutely.
like you were willing and you genuinely were willing. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then he came in with his goodness to be like, no, this is how good I actually am. You're actually going to keep it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's going to keep it. You did the right thing. You sacrificed yourself.
Yeah.
You did the Jesus thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take care of you and
know,
honor you for that.
And it's like, you know, like the story of Cain and Abel, like God wants your best.
Right.
I could have easily just used my best friend as a scapegoat to keep my
Right.
job. I just got a
course, yeah.
mortgage.
Right.
I needed money, or else I was going to lose this house,
Right.
like it would have been really easy for me to just like be scared and fearful, and out of fear, just be like, okay, I guess we have to lay off yacht.
Well, that's why a lot of people do that. It's not because they're like these evil people. It's they're looking out for themselves.
Exactly.
It's also so cool how intentional God is, because like when you are praying and then you're hearing, like, I don't know exactly if you like heard audibly, but like you're hearing in when you're listening to a speaker and you're hearing stories of the Bible and those are relating like directly to your life.
Yeah.
It's so intentional that you were hearing those at the time that you were.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so amazing how intentional he is.
Yeah.
He's
like the
awesome.
other day, I was just like, I think, God speaks to you through like little things every day,
Yeah,
like
for
whether
sure.
it's like shuffling of music, like when the right song just comes on at the right
Oh,
time.
I always
The
say
other
that.
day, I was just a mess last Sunday, the Sunday of the birthday party.
Okay.
I was just like singing on my way to church, just in tears, just like so moved. Like a lot of things had happened in my life, and I was just feeling so grateful, and I was just moved. And, like I was fighting back tears at church because I was just so happy. I don't know why, but like the happy things like just brings me to tears like really often now, like way too often. Like I'm just like so happy. I'm like, whoa, you're so good. Like I just like can't, like I like, how do you make me laugh cry every day? Like it just like doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I was just feeling so grateful, so happy. I went to Target. I picked up the gift cards and the cards for Athena and for Mia. And I get in my car and I turn on the radio. And what do you think the first song I hear is? I'll be around.
I was going to guess that. Yeah.
I'll be around.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
There you are, wiping your tears in the car.
I'm wiping my
You're crying
tears.
again.
And I'm crying again. Like
Yeah.
I just like immediately I'm like, thanks, Uncle Harry. Like, like I needed that. Like I really needed that. And like that's the way. When God speaks to you, you know it. And it's not always some extravagant thing. Like when you had asked me the first time when I came here for church, you asked me like, what was your coming to God moment? And I was like, well, like I almost had to lay off my friend, and instead, like I said that I would leave. And like I was like, wow, that was anticlimactic. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a really good story.
No, I remember being moved by that.
Yeah, you were like, oh my God, I'm almost in tears.
No, like literally. Like I was
know?
like, because not many people would do that these days.
Yeah.
They're going to think of themselves. And it's almost like I wouldn't blame you if you told that story and you were like, I had to let go of my best friend. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you're like, I
have
have a
blamed
mortgage.
you.
I have
You know what I
things
mean?
to pay for, yeah.
But it was moving to see that you sacrificed, and that's what moved me. You know what I mean? Like I would have just been like, oh man, that would have been tough. But other than that, I would be like, that's really tough. I'm sorry I had to do that. But instead, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, your stewardship.
you literally like sacrificed yourself so that somebody else could whatever. Yeah.
And it just goes to show, like that's all. It's always the answer.
Yeah.
It's like
it's always whatever you don't want to do. Usually,
it's always what you don't want to do. Like you got to be the servant. It's like really, like I got to be the servant. Like I got to be the guy to do all the dirty work.
Right.
Like, but like it just when you think about it, it makes sense. Like when the people at the bottom are grateful, happy, and like doing the most work that they can, like how could the top is so tiny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just one person usually at the
Yeah.
top. Like the bottom, the base, the foundation, that's what needs to be strong. That's what needs to be solid. The servant needs to be solid.
I also think with you highlighting how you were saying, like, I wanted to touch on all the negative, like, I wanted to bring up all those low moments. I think that's important to do because how you said, like, now you're grateful and you're so much more grateful for the small things. That's how you can tell someone's heart posture has changed.
Yeah.
It's as simple as, like, the sun being out on a day. You're like, wow, like, today is a really good day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can take the smallest, you have a great healthy relationship. Like, that is your biggest joy of anything. Like you have the smallest things to find just so much happiness and joy and like pure joy and pure happiness out of, instead of when you were in those moments, you're chasing those little dopamine hits, like you said, but now you have something that's like fruitful and
Sustainable.
longevity of it.
And it's true, like when you have like a grateful heart, like it's true that nothing can be taken from you. Like joy is something that like can't be taken from you.
Yeah.
You can be like content and everything you are. That's why putting Jesus first and genuinely having no idols of like, well, Jesus can't be taken away from me because he doesn't belong to anyone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You
And I
also
belong
made
to him, you know?
made a point too. You're like, everything is just so great now, but then you said last week you were having a really bad day. I think that's also so true when you are walking with God, wherever you are, in whatever denomination. You're gonna get things thrown at you,
Yeah.
but you're still sitting here with like a grateful heart and like
Yeah.
joy in some way, and like your walk is gonna get messy and things are gonna get life's just life.
I mean, funny enough, I wasn't having a bad day. I was just having an amazing day.
Yeah.
That's why I was just in tears, because I was singing, and you know the songs are just
Yeah.
all about how great God is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you really are great, and it just
Yeah.
moved me.
It really
it just like
is.
moved me. You know, like it's not it's like I said, like it's the happy things that really get me
Yeah.
now. Like that get me emotional when I think about the good that God does. Like that's what gets me moving. That's what gets me fired up. You know, like and just
Amen.
singing and praising to Him. I was just so
I
moved.
know. I love worship.
Yeah.
It's
my
the
favorite.
best. It's the best.
I like being with people too. Like,
You can feel other
Yeah, you
people's
just
like
feel it.
emotions
Yeah.
too.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Or in the car. I like it in the car too.
Yeah,
I'm in the
will-
car
singing
a
in the
lot,
car,
so I turn
absolutely.
on a lot of worship music.
I
for
do
my
have a
kids.
question because I don't think it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just ignorant to it too. When you felt your moment, like when you had that moment when you prayed and that's where you feel like your testimony like fully began, do you feel like you're made new, or like how does that really work with, because you've always been,
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't know how, like I guess I just don't know. Like, do you feel like your heart was fully changed? Do you feel like
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say my heart changed.
Okay.
You know, like I don't know if I feel like I'm like a whole new person. You know,
Yeah.
I have my past. You know what I mean? And like my past like made me who I am. You know, so I don't
Almost
think
like
it's
you're owning it type
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Like I own my past. I'm
Okay.
here to tell you about
Yeah.
all the like these
You
are
told us.
embarrassing
Yeah,
things. These
yeah.
are these are
Yeah.
things that like
I
a
know,
lot of
it's
people
tough.
would have a lot of shame about. But
Yeah.
like dude, like I said at the beginning, I believe in the redemption of sin.
Yeah.
This is the past me that I'm talking about. Like so
Okay.
in that sense, like it is like almost like I'm talking about a different person.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're a
You
new
know?
creation.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
so maybe yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I see what you're saying there.
I just
yeah.
wasn't sure if you would like label it as that, or if there was a different way that you would go about it, which
Yeah.
you did speak
I don't
about
think
it,
I
yeah.
ever really thought about it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you know, like that was the old me.
Okay.
You know? So yeah, I do agree with you there. Like that was the old me. That
Okay.
was like the things that the old me were pursuing. So I
Mm-hmm.
do feel in a sense that like no, there is like a new me and my new goal and like my new ambition.
Now you're really Paul.
Yeah, there you go.
You were
yeah.
Saul
Back to
back
Paul.
then.
Yeah,
Saul to
Saul.
Paul.
Yeah. I was persecuting.
Yeah.
Literally, I was a detective when I was
Yeah.
in that relationship. I'm like, well, you said you were here. And
Yeah.
like, I was
Oh
literally
my gosh.
like persecuting. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Wait,
but
that's actually so like, what's the word? Prophetic.
yeah,
Like you turned into like Paul.
yeah. I mean,
Your
I hope
name.
so. I mean,
It's your
I don't know
name.
if I would say. I don't know if I deserve all that. But
Well,
it is my
I
name.
just mean, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, very symbolic. Very
Yeah,
symbolic. Yeah, especially with the name Paul. It
Right.
does make a lot of connections here.
You could still do similar things. I mean, I wouldn't want to die like any of them, but like,
Oh, that's fair. I
It's-
mean,
yeah.
unless it glorified God.
but to
Yeah.
look at their life from a standpoint of like, okay, I don't know, whatever. Maybe someone's, regardless of how they died or how gruesome things were, it's like what they did could still be used today.
yeah.
You know, one was an evangelist, like that was still happening back then, you know. I see you being more of like a discuss, like you have like discussions,
Yeah.
like
You're
a
a
debater
speaker for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely love debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got like that was some of like the first videos I watched was
Maybe
you know
that
I
was
would
prepping
watch
you.
John Lennox. I
Oh, yeah.
love John Lennox, that sweet old man. Like I
Yeah.
loved him. I loved watching him debate because I loved watching him, you know, not attack somebody but just win over an entire crowd with just how pleasant he is.
Yeah.
You know, and just like seeing
important.
you know Jesus through him and his happiness, you know, and his contentness,
Yeah.
and you know like, and then you see people debating him, and you're like, they look upset and angry. And
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be like him.
You
know,
see his
so
peace.
yeah. I watched.
Because when you're defending the truth, it's almost like you don't really need to do much. You're
Yeah.
just saying
Yeah, you
it.
can just
Yeah.
speak.
And then people just are like,
Yeah,
and you're like, okay.
well, these aren't even my ideas, bro. I
Yeah.
read a book.
Yeah.
I read a book that told me what to think.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't
exactly.
feel like you're attacking me right now. Like, you're attacking his ideas. And I
Exactly.
already spent a ton of time attacking his ideas.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't go anywhere good.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't feel, you know, like, hey, man, if that's where you want to go, like, I'll be here to talk to you the next time you're ready to talk. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I'm not the type to get upset at somebody getting upset at me.
Right.
You know, like if you get upset, like I'll be like, first of all, I'm sorry that this upsets you. Like that's not my goal. But like I'm always ready to talk again. You want to talk
Yeah.
again? I'm ready to talk again. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm not the type to like shun people out and like push them away and say like I'm done with you. You know, that's not how I roll, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's not what Jesus would do. Jesus
Yeah.
sat with the people that were going through the worst and doing the worst, and he transformed them.
Yeah.
You know?
He was the harshest on the people that were claiming to be religious.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's why I think it's why I had like this disclaimers at the beginning. I'm very, I might even say I'm very afraid of saying the wrong thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I really don't want to portray God in a way that would turn somebody off to him.
Yeah.
Because like I couldn't imagine like I said something that made somebody turn away from
Yeah.
God.
I think that's a healthy fear of God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah,
You
absolutely.
have a reverence for him that
I
you
do.
don't want to
Yeah.
disappoint him. That's
Absolutely,
beautiful. Yeah.
absolutely. And I know that like especially when I'm talking about God, like there's weight. There's
Yeah.
weight to the words I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like it's very important. And there's been times when I like to think before I talk. I like to like really think about what I'm going to say before I talk in a lot of circumstances, because often when I immediately, I get an emotional response and I snap.
Yeah.
I say something quickly. That's when I end up hurting people. And I'm like, I should have.
Yeah.
I
Quick to
could've-
listen,
I could've
slow
said
to
that in a
speak.
better
It's
way.
literally
Yeah.
all in the
Slow
Bible.
to
It's
speak.
really crazy.
I was gonna
Slow to
say,
speak,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a very human thing to go
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
To go
I
with
know.
that first
I
reaction.
literally have a
yeah.
proverb like
It's
is
harder.
my screensaver because it reminds me to shut up sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it literally says like don't talk too much. That's what it says.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's true. Every time I like don't think, or like you said, like you're acting emotionally and you respond emotionally. Like every time I stop and think, I respond well.
Yeah.
But every time I'm quick, I'm just like, what? did
Yeah.
I
Coulda
say?
done
Yep.
better.
Yeah.
Coulda
What
done
was
something
that?
better, yeah.
But it's cool to know that like every human has those moments
Yeah.
if they're self-aware.
Right.
There's people that aren't self-aware and you're not going to get anywhere with them
Right.
anyways.
Right.
But if there's someone that's self-aware, like they've experienced that.
Right.
So you're not alone.
Right.
And I mean, God says he'll put the right words in you when
Yeah.
you need it. Like that's something I prayed before I came here. I'm like God, like
It's
put
your
the right
floor.
words to my mouth.
Yeah.
Like help me say the right thing. Help me like say the right thing.
Yeah.
Like that's really it. Because it matters, and it matters, and I really want to drop as many mustard seeds as I can. I don't need somebody to drop everything and turn to Jesus the first time I talk to them.
Yeah.
If I can just really listen to them, hear what they're going through, and be like, hey, like there's this parable.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a parable?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why God spoke in parables.
Yeah.
God didn't walk around saying like, you need to do this, you need to do
Yes.
X, Y, Z. He would say, hey, this situation you're going through, this reminds me of a story. Let me tell you a story.
And they're
And
like
that's why testimonies move people the most.
Yeah.
That's why your story.
they're timeless though, like
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
He knows everybody's forever gonna know what a mustard seed is, or somebody can explain, right? Like a
Right.
kid might not know what that
Right.
is.
Right.
But it will always have like a meaning behind it. That
Yeah.
we'll always be able to, if we just look a little deeper, we'll be able to figure it out. So yeah.
I remember I was talking to our cousin the other day, and I'm on the phone with him, and like I'm saying some stuff that's really getting through to him, and then he's like, I'm at my friend's house right now. He's not trying to hear any of this. That's like what he told me. And then, but I just continued talking to Steve. I'm like, that's fine, like I get it. It's not for everybody. I think it's great and this and X, Y, Z, but like I'm not gonna like be pushy with him.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking to Steve. Oh, I mean, whatever.
That's okay.
I'm talking to our cousin, and he says, I need to work. I know I need to work on forgiveness. And I tell him the parable of the master who forgave the slave's debt. And then the slave goes to talk to other people that owed him money. So I don't know if I should maybe like just sum up the parable right now.
No,
but,
yeah.
But so there's a master who's talking to his servant. The servant owes the master a lot of money. And the servant goes, please, please forgive me. Like, I don't have it. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. And the master goes, you know what? Fine. Okay. I forgive you. I'll forgive you of your debt. I'll wash it away. And then the servant goes and talks to other servants, his fellow servants, that owed him money. And the servant's thinking, I owed the master all this money. Like, I'm going to start collecting from all the other servants to pay the master back. and he starts, forcibly collecting money from people that don't have it, just like he didn't have it. And he ends up going back to the master and tells him of how he got all this money from all these people. And the master goes like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Was the debt you owed me not much higher than the debt they owed you? And I forgave you of your debts, but you're unwilling to forgive them of their debts? Be gone.
And he does the same thing to him that they did. He said, I forget what it was. He said, like, lock him up and don't let him go till twice as many of his debts are paid or something, which is impossible. And that's really what he's saying is, like, you can't.
Right.
You can't repay it.
So that really spoke to our cousin. And he was like, wow, yeah, I see how that's me, with forgiving people. Like, I totally see the relation. And then all of a sudden, his friend who wanted nothing to do with God goes, and this is how I relate to that, So all of a sudden, this guy who wants nothing to do with this hears this story, and he's in. He's interested. There's that mustard seed.
Yep.
There's that mustard seed, just a drop. I didn't need to tell him, like, repent and believe. All I had to do is tell him a story. And he goes, yo, actually, I can relate to that so much, And, like, it just goes to show, like, when you're just listening and you're just trying to relate and maybe say, something, from the book. It's not even my, not my parable.
That's all we
it's
have
from
to
the
do.
book.
Yeah.
It can touch people. It touches people's hearts.
Yeah.
I mean, even sitting here listening to your story, I was like, wow, actually, from what we've talked about in our testimony, where we've come from, I was able to relate so much to you. And you built my faith even more just sitting here talking to you. So, like, I can't even imagine just one other person hearing it, what that could do.
Right.
So I really thank you for sharing everything
thanks
that
for
you
coming
did.
on. Our first, I think this was a successful first
I think so.
guest.
No, you were great. Yeah.
I was going to
Thank
high
you.
five, but I thought it was kind of...
Could I sum it up with some final words?
Oh my gosh,
Final
yeah.
words.
I was going to
I'll
ask
read
if there
it.
was anything you want to wrap up
Final
with.
words.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Now I'm in a happy, healthy, loving relationship.
With the coolest girl.
The
Coolest girl in the world.
She
No one's
is-
cooler than her.
Nobody's cooler than
I
her.
actually mean that from the bottom of my heart.
No,
Maddie
100%.
is so cool.
Like, and she is way too good for me. Like,
She's
too good for
awesome.
me. She hasn't the mistakes I've made, but she is way too good for me. I've gone back to church. I'm going to church. I was going for a while. I stumbled again. I stopped going. Not that I stopped believing, but I stopped going to church. I'm back. Like it's not like an instantly forever. You're fixed forever. But I am going back to church right now. Been at least a couple of weeks. I'm on a streak. I've been praying every day, usually multiple times a day, and I'm doing the best that I can to spread the good news to as many people as I can, friends, family, and like it's difficult. So it takes a lot of courage to build up the nerve to be like,
uncomfortable
hey,
conversations, yeah.
exactly. But I'm doing the best that I can, and my past mistakes still follow me. I'm not I still think about that time sometimes, and it's not gone forever. But with God's help, I'm growing into the man that I know I can be one day at a time.
Aw, amen to that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I went to high five and no one high fived me. So
Awesome.
and that's a wrap.
Yeah,
a wrap.
thank
We always
you.
accidentally
Thank you.
do this.
We do.
Even though it really means action, but we always do it at the end.
5, 6, 7, 8. There you go.
It's turned into like a tradition.
It has felt like a thing.
And it doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh, my